Hello, I'd like to talk to everybody about the fact that nobody talks about resource based economy. No large media, no media. I mean, you have to actually specifically look it up to even figure it out. Most people I talk to about it don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, what are you talking about? So I'm just wondering, especially the left and centralists of our government that make policies. I'm really curious if it even ever crosses y'all's mind, if you've ever heard of it. Um, if you've heard of it and just discarded it as, nonsense, or you heard it and you thought it was some crazy concept like it's, communist or whatever. I really want to hear people's opinions about it, whether you've heard of it or not. Um, just that, because it's just weird to me. You know, it seems like pretty much literally everything is talked about every day, Um, but that, I don't know, it just seems weird to me. I know it's been suppressed, I mean, obviously. But, you hear little pieces of it here and there. Bernie Sanders talks about a universal base income. Guess what? That would be a good piece of transition between a capitalist society and resource based economy. There's lots of examples. Public libraries have been around for a long time. Universal health care is in most every developed country, except for this one. But in this country, we do implement somewhat of a thing like that in the commissaries that our U.S. military uses for them to be able to afford groceries. Well, not just to be able to afford them, but it makes the groceries. It's one of the, what do they call it, the cost plus. So you know they pay what it costs to get the product plus like 1%. So there's not a it's not a profit driven thing. It's just to help alleviate you know monetary problems within military families. A great program, by the way. Um, but this is a program that's been around for a long time, and don't get me wrong, I know it's had its ups and downs, but it's there and it's happening. That is a resource based economy type concept, but it's only implemented for U.S. military families. Um, I'm trying to think of other resource based concepts, resource based economic concepts that are implemented or at least trying to be implemented. Like I said, Bernie Sanders talked about the universal basic income. I said the public libraries, universal health care in most countries. Um, you know, there's little pieces of it that get used, but it can never be openly talked about like that because you're a socialist. Why is socialist bad? I don't know if anybody knows what socialist is, but I mean, to me, it means we're all in this together. Let's help each other. That's what socialism means to me. If you're against that, then I would consider you to have mental issues. I mean, you got some problems that you need to work out because for a society to progress, for most of the people to benefit, all of the people to benefit, we all kind of have to work together. That's not what we're doing, but we can. But in a system built on capitalism, it does the opposite of that. That's a systemic problem. Capitalism promotes profit, and that's all it does. It doesn't encourage inventions and all of it. The only thing it encourages is how can I make something cheaper, faster, and sell it for more and more. None of that is positive. Why can't we have a society where I want to make the highest quality thing that will last as long as possible and that is also either upgradable or recyclable? Every product ever made. Why can't we have food that is literally never processed? It's just fresh daily fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, legumes, plants delivered to everybody every day. No, we don't get that either. You got to pay an arm and a leg to be able to do that. You have to be rich to be able to do that. So our society is built on a capitalist system that is detrimental to ourselves. Money is not going to explore space. Money is not going to explore our oceans. Money is not going to explore our jungles, our history, learn about ourselves. Money doesn't do any of these things. We do. We are the ultimate thing in our own lives. And when you put money above that, it's so bad. So, I just wanted to talk about that. If you think about it in any way, I would imagine you would feel the same that I do, whether you're conservative or whatever. I mean, we really need to get away from this bipartisan Democrat, Republican anyway. We're all humans. We're all on this planet. All the resources on this planet is all of ours. Nobody, one person or a group of people should own anything. I mean, that's just the way it should be. Most every problem that you can think of, probably every problem you can think of, can be solved together. Money's not going to solve it. So maybe just try and talk about it so we can get it going. We need to get our politicians talking about it. I mean, what's wrong with talking about it? We're just talking about it. It's an idea. I mean, there's cities that are experimenting with using like a credit system instead of money, just to implement points to people that do net positives and that, take away from people that do negatives. They've already been experimenting with this, I know. So I think whole countries are picking up this idea, which is great. I kind of thought we would lead that front in the United States of America, but I guess I was naive. But even if we're not leading it, we can still go that way. Whether you're conservative or liberal, it doesn't matter. We all want the same thing. We want to be safe, healthy. We want good education. We want honesty. We want transparency. I mean, we all want all these things, but none of these things are going to happen with the monetary system in place. When the motive of everybody, the ultimate goal for everybody is to make as much money as possible. I've never been this way. I've always felt this way about money. Most everybody around me, I know, even growing up, listen to people talk, adults talk about it, feel the same way. But they just couldn't quite put it all in to one concept, I guess, you know. So let's just talk about it. Let's try to get our politicians to talk about it. I mean, why is it so taboo? They talk about the most outrageous things about sex and all these, you know, war and killing people and all this other stuff, but they can't talk about, you know, capitalism and resource-based economy or any other kind of thing at all. That's crazy. What do you think?